Welcome to Witchy Shit and Manga Lit with Carta and Rawiyah. We were gone for a week, but we're back and talking about the nature of magic and magical girls. Let's get into it. Hello! And welcome to this week's episode of Witchy Shit and Manga Lit with Carta and Rawiyah. We are so happy to be back with y'all. Today we have a very, very special subject that is super, super close to both of our hearts. Carta, do you want to introduce that subject?
Yeah, and you know it's going to be a good day when we start off with this Mrs. Doubtfire kind of energy. So we are going to do today magic and how it works, and also magical girls as a genre, and how that has affected both of our lives, both of them. How everything has
Mm-hmm.
how magic has affected our lives in multiple ways.
Yeah,
So we are very excited about this. This is something we've wanted to talk about for a while, and I think we're going to have a really good time today. So I'm excited.
me too. I'm already smiling like cheesing hard.
It's going to
Cheesing
be a
so
good
hard.
time. So, what have you been watching, reading, listening to lately?
Okay, give me a second. I have to burp.
It's all that
Empty
sparkling
myself out.
water because you're
I
fancy
know
now.
I drank a whole can of sparkling water before it came on, but now the burp is stuck. Like now it's shy.
Yeah, that's the thing about sparkling water. It'll get like in your throat and just hang out there. That's why like if you ever see me go like that, that's a burp actually. Because I do
Oh,
nothing but drink sparkling water, so I figured out how to like hold it and then just like breathe it out so that I'm not like brav like all the time because I literally drink nothing but sparkling water.
I really
So,
want to try to push it out. Like it is stuck in there and I can feel it. And I'm like,
friend, you will
come
hurt
on.
yourself if you push it out. Please don't.
Okay, I won't force it. um, so this week I have been watching Doctor Who. I'm still on Peter Capaldi's version of the Doctor. Which I got to an episode I haven't seen before. I don't quite remember, so I'm super excited about that one. Is one of the episodes with Missy, who I think is
I
oh
love
wait, oh wait, the burp
Missy.
is coming.
That was a good one. Good
It was
job.
like 5 or 6
It just
burps
kept
in a
coming.
row.
Yeah.
It was
It was like the Niagara Falls of a burp. It's fine.
stop going. I love Missy too. I think on my second watch of Missy, she's like just so, I appreciate the unhingedness of the actress playing
Yes.
Missy.
The actress that plays Missy is like next level good. She was in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch series as well. She plays like the
Really?
bad headmistress. Yeah. Yeah. So like when I saw that, I was like,
Oh,
fuck, it's Missy. I love you, bitch. Yeah, keep being evil. That's you. That's all you.
she's like so ridiculously good. Like I love slash hate her character so much. So
Yes. What I love about her is she manages to be as unhinged as possible, but yet you can still 1,000% see that she's in love with the doctor.
yes,
And because like the
yes.
master is obsessed with the doctor. The master has never not been obsessed with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So this new incarnation obviously is going to be obsessed with the doctor. But the way the actress,
Codependency on a new level.
yes, the way the actress manages to like mesh it is like the best out of all
Mm-hmm.
of them, I think. Personally, I'm a
Yeah.
huge Missy
Out
fan.
of the few representations I've seen of the master, Missy is just
Yeah. The
a
only other
piece
ones
of stunning
outside
artwork.
of Missy that I love from the Capaldi series is the Ice Prison episode because that one is like, oof, that one's really deep.
I haven't seen that one. I don't think I have to double check because I don't really
You would
remember.
know which one I was talking about if you had seen
Okay,
it
so
all
I
yet.
haven't.
So probably not.
Okay. I one of the episode that like struck me the hardest is the episode where Claire's gone and he ends up in the confession dial and he has
Ah,
to work his way out of that by himself, and he like over and over and over again, he relives this whole thing over and over again to figure out how to get out.
That is the
And it's like
episode. I just
hell.
call it the ice prison episode because he has to break through that
Oh,
wall.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had to break through the diamond wall with his
Yes, yes.
fist.
But like my brain's like, that's an ice prison. So that's how I remember it as the ice prison episode.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
episode
Okay,
gives
so we're
my
talking about
angsty
the same
ass
thing.
all the feels.
I know.
Yes,
It's so, it's just so good.
I love it. I love it. So I'm watching Doctor Who. I'm reading Diverse Bodies, Diverse Practices
Mm.
because I'm doing an event where I'm a disability lead. So
Oh,
I make
okay.
sure that places are set up for disability and accessibility, and so we're having a play in November, and I've been reading some stuff to brush up on my own awareness because it goes beyond what my body experiences.
Hmm.
So I'm reading that. I'm also reading oh my god, it's by Leah Lakshmi. The Future is Disabled.
Oh, okay.
So
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm doing some reading for work stuff, not necessarily for pleasure. And I've been watching Doctor Who, and that's all I've been able to take in because I've been so sleepy
Yeah.
this last week that I've just been watching whatever show's playing behind my eyelids. That has been it. That has been it.
I mean, I bet that's an adventure too.
It is an adventure. It is an adventure, and listening to this new artist that I've come across, and I'm probably gonna spell their name wrong, but they blew up on TikTok with this song Jericho.
Yes,
Um,
I think it's Iniko.
I'm from outer space. Yeah.
Yes.
I got Milky
Yeah.
Way for blood, evolution in my
My
veins. I'm
veins.
like,
Yeah, I love
yes,
her.
bitch, yes. So that's what I'm on this week. What about you?
Um so since it's been 2 weeks since we talked last, I have consumed a lot of media. I've narrowed it down a bit so that it's not going to be wholly everything because I could not go over all of the things. It would take entirely too long.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I did start Oshi no Ko, and then
Yeah.
I read like 60 chapters of the manga
So we're like at the
because
same place, just about.
yeah, right. And I really hope that the anime goes over the live theater arc because I think that would be amazing. But I have a feeling they're not
Hmm.
going that far, just based on the
I hope
pacing of.
so.
I know I really want to see that arc. It's so good. um, and then beyond that, we watched the latest season, of The Mandalorian. Actually, we watched like 8
Hmm.
episodes last Friday, and I drank an entire bottle of wine, so that was a situation. Yeah, but I still got to bed by, like, midnight because I had to go,
Oh,
drive to Cleveland the next day. I drive 4 hours to get my hair done
it's worth it.
because
It's gorgeous.
right? Like, he's so good. He does, like, layering in my hair, so this is actually faded. This is
Hmm.
faded hair, but it still looks amazing, so I'm like, "This is totally worth it."
Hmm.
So I'm very excited about how that came out. Reading wise, I've read a lot more than I've watched. I've watched like a couple episodes of everything, and of course, I'm basically hate watching Boruto at this time. Like
Oh no.
I'm just trying to get through it, and like each arc is stupider than the last, and I'm like, just get back to the moon people for fuck's sake. I want to finish with it already. I don't care what happens
Hmm.
to these other characters. Like it's to the point that like the writing is so hollow that they'll like kill a child in an episode, and I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Oh.
Not upset about it at all. And it's like that is a child, obviously, and I'm like, yeah, but we met him like 2 episodes ago. I don't know who this kid is. He didn't
There's
even
no
say
emotional
anything.
connection
And
here
and
yet.
yeah, like, and now he's dead. Oh, and Kawaki's upset about it. I'm sad for Kawaki, but like, I don't care. Sorry,
Hmm.
I, I
Hmm.
can't care about these kids right now. But And like the fact that they're like missing huge advancements in ways that the plot could actually go forward pisses me off. Because
Mm.
like I said last time, like Boruto is basically 70% moon person at this point, or 80% or whatever. And like they have a ninja geneticist that they could go call and be like, "Hey, can you fix my son?" Or and it's Mitsuki's fucking parent too. It's Orochimaru. And he could have been like, "Hey, parent, come fix my best friend." And no,
Mhm.
no one's thought to call the ninja geneticist in to look at
Oh.
Boruto's fucking genetics. And I'm like, this is dumb. It doesn't make sense. why
Mhm.
why would you not call the one person who might be able to fix him?
Who
I
could
don't
help
know.
you?
Yeah, it makes no sense. And they may have explained it earlier on in the show, but again, we're at episode like 250. If they explained
What?
it in episode 30 or something, I wouldn't have remembered that because I keep putting it down because it's boring and then picking it up again. This show is going to episode 296 or something, and I'm like,
Oh no.
God, please just stop. However, I have noticed, like I was looking at some of the episodes, that there's like an 8 episode arc explaining
Mhm.
Sasuke's backstory, and I have never seen a more blatant death flag than that. So I'm like, oh, that bitch is probably gonna die. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what they do. That's how anime does it. They're like, we're gonna make you care about this person before we
And then
kill
we're gonna
them,
kill them.
and then we're gonna murk them real hard. So
Yep.
yeah, so I've been watching that, and I'm trying to think what else. I started a show called My Love Story with Yamada at level 100, 999, and it's actually really cute,
Mhm.
but like it's not fully out yet, so I'm gonna like hold off on it and then binge it once it's completely out, because that's how I work
Mm.
when I'm watching stuff. I prefer to see it once it's out, not watch it as it
Yeah.
comes out,
I'm
unless I'm
sorry I
like,
did that to you with Oshinoko. I was just like, it's so pretty.
you did. And I'm like, okay, I'm 2 episodes in and I already know what's going to happen. So I'm going to hold off now so that I can wait.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that I got the High Dive app, because I've also been watching the second season of Tsurune, which
Mhm.
is a show about archery. It's about these boys that do what's called Kudo, which is like it's like a traditional martial arts version of archery. Like they have a specific stance they have to do. Um, it's very relaxing, but also exciting at the same time,
It is.
because
I agree.
the way that they shoot it is gorgeous. But it's also exciting because it's like the animation is really good. So it's hard to explain it, but I highly recommend Tsurune. The first season is on Crunchyroll, but the second season is on High Dive. The second season is not on Crunchyroll, and High Dive doesn't have the first season, so you have
Filling
to
in the
have both.
gaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Filling in the gaps.
Um, Reading wise, I have been mostly still in the BL space, but I
Uh-huh.
discovered two that have one of my favorite tropes, which is um the bottom is like an angry wet cat. just just super spicy all the time. And the top is like a big dumb himbo, and I'm like, yes, this dynamic
Mhm.
is exciting and I like it. Thank you. Um, but the one that I like went ham on recently, that I literally sent you money so you can read it, because I think that you'll like this one a
All
lot.
right.
It's
I got my
it's
phone.
it is called Hard Boiled Love, and you want the mature
Hard
version, which you
boiled
can
love.
only get via the website.
Is
You
this
can't.
on Tapas?
Tappy Tunes. So
Happy Tunes.
it is Tappy Tune, and like I said, you can only read it on their website. You can't read it on the app because it is not safe for work.
Oh, okay.
But
So I have to go to Tappy Tune
I can.
online.
I'll just send you the link. That might be faster.
Yes, please, because I'm a little high and I'm like, oh my God. So wait, what's it called again? Hard boiled love?
I just sent you the link.
Okay, cool.
So
Cool,
just
cool,
click
cool.
on that. And I'll tell
Okay.
you a
Oh, it
little bit
came up
about
on my
it.
computer.
Oh, even better. um, so it's about a man who was hired to be a bodyguard for the son of uh, a mob. Basically, he's the
Mm-hmm.
youngest son of this mob, and it turns out the son, who is very pretty, is a dom, and he decides that the bodyguard would make a good sub, and the bodyguard actually is a sub and is very much into this. So that's
Oh,
kind of where the basis of the story is. And I like the dynamic that the sub is this giant brick house of a man. And his dom is a little bit more svelte, but like the way that they show the dynamic is extremely uh
look at this
conscientious.
cover.
Yeah. Yeah, that cover is like even just a slight hint of flavor. Like the actual comic is insane, and by insane I mean by chapter 7 they were doing stuff I had never heard of before. Okay. By
I
chapter
can unlock
50,
all of the episodes and save 20%.
yes you can.
That's why you sent it to me. Like,
I'm like, here is some money, buy some coins, unlock them. I promise you'll like it.
oh
I'm
my
up to episode
god.
70. Um, yeah, friend, they go hard in this. They do like piercing play and electricity and shit and
Oh my god.
stuff
I
that.
love piercing play. I love electricity. Like, I am kinky. Like, we can even,
Yes.
once we're done with this, we can have an episode where we talk about kink and we talk about like kinky BLs because I'm here for that.
I mean, I'm down. We can definitely do a spicy episode. I actually, yeah.
We've had a spicy episode.
I mean, every episode is a little
Okay, I
spicy, but
just
we
got
can
it.
maybe you're welcome. I want to hear all about it while you read it, but this one's one that I'm
I
like,
just got it.
yeah, no, but they're dynamic in the way that they talk to each
Unlocked.
other. Cause like for me, when I'm reading stuff like that, I don't like it if the top is really cruel or mean for no reason. This one is obviously
Yeah.
dominating the other one, but like in a very conscientious way. Like he's
Mhm.
thinking of making sure not to hurt him too badly, to the point that the sub doesn't give a shit and is like, hurt me more. And he's like, I don't think you can handle it. So no, we're going to ease you
That
into this because he's,
is that is how it should be. Like, not to
yes,
go
no,
too deep
like,
into it, like so many representations of kink in art are this whole like dick fantasy of art, like of kink.
yes.
It's not what kink actually is. And I prefer in my media if they actually show what it is. Like 50 Shades of Grey was complete disrespect of what kink actually is.
Mhm.
But like I
And
love
so
it when
even
there's
though
consent.
I'm not personally in the community, I did enough research about it to be able to smell bullshit from like 50 miles away. So that's why
Mhm.
like I made sure to read the entire thing before recommending it to you because I guarantee
Oh
you there is
yay.
absolutely nothing bad in here and a whole lot of good. Just so much good.
Okay,
So much
I
good.
got it. I got
Okay.
it. I'm excited. It's on my computer. I'm ready to read it after we're done recording this episode. Like Tappy Tunes on the PC is like nice.
Yeah, it is actually. Like Tappy Tunes, the website, it's just as good as the like I don't have any issue with using that instead. And the only thing with Tappy Tunes versus Tapas is if you do want to read the spicy comics, you have to do it online. You can't do it on the app. The app will not open up.
Mhm.
Tappy, like with Tapas, if you click on the spicy comic in the website, it will open the app to the spicy comic. So you're still reading it on the app. You just can't search or get to
Oh.
the spicy comics via the app. You can only get through
Mhm.
to it through the web link that I sent you. So
Okay.
Slightly different, but like still kind of same rules because both Google Play and Apple iOS will refuse any app that is specifically for spicy shit. I don't know why, but they just will
I need
refuse.
to know where I can just find spicy shit on there, cause I just need to find all the
Yeah.
spicy
I
shit.
mean, and I do have some recommendations. I've read
Yay!
almost all of them, and some are very good. Anyway, so,
Oh my
but
god.
yeah, basically, Tappy and Tapas both have a mature section, but you have to get to them through the web link, not the
Mhm.
app. They won't open on the app. Actually, all of them are like that. Pocket Comics does the same thing, so it's web only. Basically, any of the apps that have a spicy version, you have to get to it on the website.
The other way.
So my
The other
my tabs
way.
are filthy.
That's so
My
guilty.
tabs are just filthy. I'll
I
be
love
sitting
it.
there reading dicks, waiting for my doctor's appointment. I don't care. Shouldn't look at a stranger's phone, should you?
I love it. I love reading smut in public. It's just sometimes I can't control my face. Like I can't control my face.
I mean, I'm
I
not
wish
going to
I
say I'm
could.
not the same way. I'm sitting there like,
Mhm.
it's super obvious. I'm a terrible person, but I don't care because it's
I
fun.
love it.
It's
I
fun. Okay. So, our first topic today is magic and how that works. And um I don't know, like I feel like with magic itself, it's more like I know that's like a really quick transition and I don't care.
No, I'm good with it.
It was
I'm just gonna note where it is so that I can so that I can do it on the email because it's like a big switch. Oh, I found a thing on YouTube. Like you can
mm.
like put where subjects are in videos, and so I'm totally gonna do that for our
Ooh,
videos.
that's a good idea because some people are going to be
Mm-hmm.
like I don't care about all that smut, but you know what? Our audience, they do. Anybody listening to us by this point is like, yes, tell me where all the smut is, please.
Tell
Thank you.
me where the smut is. Tell
You
me
said
where the
there's lots
smut
of
is.
dicks. Show me the dicks.
Show me. Show me.
I just wanted to make sure that we'll have enough time to talk about everything because
Oh,
both of these topics are
yes.
going to be like, eh, we got a lot to say.
I want to clarify something I said earlier when I was like, it's a very dick representation of kink. I mean to say it's a very cis het view fantasy of kink.
Mhm.
Like, it's not a, it's not something that is like, that I found like in spaces that is like viable in any way.
Mm.
Even when you start looking at, oh no, you know what? I'm gonna save the rest of this for when we do a kink
Yes,
episode
I think that's
because
best.
it's near and dear to my heart. So magic, yes, go on.
Okay,
I'm here. I'm
so
keyed in.
like for me, magic is simply manipulation of will. I can use
Mm-hmm.
my own will to affect things that are going to happen in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the complexity or I guess strength of the spell that I need, I can call in help
Mm-hmm.
for guiding my will or enhancing or amplifying, depending on what each spirit's specialty is, basically. Like
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, lately, every time that I have wanted to do a spell, Hermes shows up. I never worked with Hermes before. He's just popping
Brilliant, the
off like,
messenger.
hey, guess what? I want
Mm-hmm.
to join. And I think maybe he finds my energy delicious or something because that's 90% of what I pay with is I'm just like, here, take a piece of me. Which, by the way, is not the best way to do it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I'm very lazy and it's the only way I know how. And I'll just be exhausted and kind of sick the next day. But that's okay because that is the price that I'm paying.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because that's my choice. Every spirit has different rules around what they want. You know what I mean? So you have to negotiate and kind of figure out what your price is and what you're willing to pay versus what kind of spell you're trying to do. And there are some prices that I find too high because there are some spirits that what their price is devotion. And that is not something I'm willing to give, is devotion. But that's just me. I'm not going to judge anybody for, who they work with or what they what they want, obviously, because
Mhm. Mhm.
we are all different. Um,
Mhm.
so it's really more about finding your own path to achieving what you need to achieve with
Yeah,
that, if that makes sense. For me,
it
at least.
does. It does.
What do you think?
For me, magic is alchemy. And I think that's part of how I don't wanna owe bitches shit, is how I feel. Like when when I do shit, so I'm like upfront, what do you want for this? If I'm working with someone, if I'm not working with someone, or some spirit, I will do my magic by making sacrifices to the earth, and that may look like doing a leaving out red wine or pouring out red wine into the earth, or leaving out grapes somewhere or something like that, or even making a donation to a place that is like doing some work towards preserving the earth, or making sure that I am paying a land tax on a land that I'm on right now. So that is
Can
some of
you
the ways
explain
in
that
which I
last one
pay
a
for
little bit
things.
more? Like, what
The
is it? What
land
do you mean by
tax.
land tax? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So a land tax, thank you for asking that question. So a land tax is giving money to the indigenous cultures that held the land before it was colonized or taken over. So, especially if you're in unceded territory, and unceded is like territory that was like not paid for, or like basically trickstered out of the indigenous hands, which a lot of territory was
Yeah.
tricked out of indigenous people's hands. So if you look up the tribes in your area, you'll be able to pay or give money to the tribes who are using that money to live, one,
Hmm.
and also using that money to restore land, which is so what's needed right now, the original caretakers of Turtle Island. So here I'm in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, in Richmond. The tribe that we pay tax to here is the Ohlone tribe, and it's called the Shumi land tax. And you can go online,
Hmm.
anywhere. I think it like is where what land am I on .org or .com or something like that. Let me look that up right now. I believe it's what
Yeah, I'm looking
land
it up too.
am I on? And you'll end up at native dash land. For me, it's like native-land.ca, and it'll tell you where you are. Also, on the Smithsonian Magazine site, there's a link that will show you where you are and which indigenous land you're on. Or you can go to hyper allergic. I don't know why it's hyper allergic, but you can text that number to find out what native land you live on too. So there's different ways of finding out. KQED even has an article out on how to find it. And the map will show you where you are, and then you just look up the tribe in the area and see if they're doing anything to collect funds or money. So that's one of the ways in which I pay for it, or reconcile what I'm asking for from the earth, is by contributing to the land tax or to the tribes in the area, the indigenous tribes in the area. So, but often, like, I see that exchange as energy and time. So sometimes that means the herbs that I'm using, like, and I'm grateful for those herbs. I have a whole apocryphy I hardly touch. Like, yesterday I was in here sniffing like some fucking wasp nest, being like, is this wasp nest or is this snake shed? Like, which one?
The nose
Um,
knows.
um, so, but I see magic as alchemy. I see it as a corroborative practice. And I was talking to someone earlier this week about it. The way I also see magic as a I see life and magic and mystery existing on a spectrum, right? So there's a spectrum.
Mhm.
And the spectrum is life and death, which kind of loop back around each other. So it's like life and death, and
Mhm.
they press their booties against each other. And all that space in between is fucking chaos. So for me, I'm trying to use my will to alter that chaos into a way in which I want it. That doesn't mean there's no set order. I feel like we exist on a spectrum between chaos and order. Like there is order to the universe, there's also chaos in the universe. And so my magic takes place in that chaotic part of the universe where I'm like, let me put this here, put this there, put that there. And the universe adjusts according to my will or what I want. And there's repercussions to that and payments for that because it's just like, we were massage therapists. Like you work on one
Mhm.
muscle, you have to work on the surrounding muscles because if one muscle is out of whack, the muscles around it are out of whack. We do the same thing with the universe sometimes when we do magic. Like we
Mhm.
are either putting the universe into some sort of order or knocking it out of order, and we're affected by that. So I think there are consequences to magic, but I see magic with the same way that I see sex. I feel like it's sex with the universe. It's friction, it's creation, it's like
Mhm.
longing, it's desire, it's all that juiciness. And I do have one spirit that I am in devotion to, like one entity. I went to this bitch she's like fairy or feral, and she's like, hey, everybody talks about the past, present. I just asked her, like, is it okay to talk about you? And she's like, yes, bitch, talk about me. This is what I want in the world. This is part of your work in the world. But when I met her, she was like very much, have you seen Hercules? Not Hercules. Well, yeah, she was on Hercules and on Xena. Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Okay, so very much has that Aphrodite energy,
Okay.
as in far of how the actress played Aphrodite. So kind of like, everybody's like, bitch, what? Da 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 da. But she was saying everybody like cares about the past, present, and future. Everybody cares about the fates and the maiden and the mother and the crone, and nobody thinks about the fucking world building. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, you have to do world building. You have to create the stories. Everybody's like, this is a story, but what about us who have to create the stories, who have to write the words, who have to write the worlds? Like the word existed, and the word is what the will moves through. And I was like, oh bitch, yeah, I get it. And she introduced herself to me as the Rawiyah. And I'm like, oh my God, my name is Rawiyah. She's like, of course your name is Rawiyah. You're one of me. Don't think you're the only one out there. There's so many. Yeah, she put me in my place. She was like, she's like, yeah, the diviner of ancient texts. She's like, yeah, you're doing your job, and as long as you do your job, I'm gonna take care of you. And I was like, bitch, like I need certain things to live. She's like, just write, and I will take care of you. And
Oh.
every time I write or engage in my writing, like stuff happens for me. Like I've been able to survive off of my art all last year and this year too, because this entity that I'm working with, and she's not asking me to bow down in any kind of way. She's like, I need you to stand up. I need you to be fully in your magic. I need you to be fully in yourself. But yeah, I gave her one of my hands, which is something you shouldn't do. Don't do something you shouldn't do. Do as I say, not as I do. But there's a red cord between my writing hand and her writing hand. And this is some kind. It serves me too. my relationship with her, and I need to figure out a way to really, really work with her. So when you said Hermes, I was like, oh shit, she is air. She is like the pin. She is the leaf, not the leaf, the feather. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, now I know how I'm gonna do my altar for her. Pins and feathers, bitch.
Oh,
Pins and feathers.
yeah. Yeah. That's really good. I actually need to
Hmm.
explore a relationship with Hermes more. The I've had one deity take interest in me, but
Hmm.
they're very hard to explain. Uh
Hmm.
other than like they're a dream creature that is older
Hmm.
than time.
That makes
And
sense.
the way they look is like a skeletal corvid with like skin, but
Hmm.
not. And
Hmm.
I noticed because one of my friends said that it had taken interest in me. So I started like asking it questions about why.
Hmm.
And one, it doesn't have a name.
Hmm.
It has a sound that
Mm.
the sound is its name. It's like this. That's the name that I got,
Uh-huh.
was that sound. And they are specifically about dreams and dream walking
Hmm.
and about actually living in the dream realm. So they
Ah.
wanted to teach me more about dreams, but I have been extremely reticent to work with them because I think they want more of a commitment than I am willing to give.
Hmm.
Because I am very commitment shy when it comes to spirits. I don't want to I don't want to commit to anybody. I want to work with anybody that wants to work with me, but I don't want to like I'm not ready for that kind of a commitment.
Hmm.
So I've been a little shy about reaching out to this entity because of that, because I'm like I don't want to allow more than what I'm ready for in terms of, I mean, I know it would be a very powerful connection, but at the same time, I'm like, am I emotionally and physically ready for that kind of a connection with the spirit world? And I'm like, not too sure about that.
Hmm.
So I think I'd want to connect in a supervised way. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Where I have
Yeah, create
someone
a contract.
to tether me while I am
Hmm.
connecting to create a contract, like you said. Um, because my friend who introduced me, essentially, because she was like, "Hey, um, you have someone that wants to meet you," and I was like, "Excuse me, what?" They're actually making me an effigy, so I will have an effigy of this spirit at some
That
point.
is so cool.
Yeah, this started years ago, and she sent me photos. I can send you photos later. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, but we'll see if I ever get to meet them because I'm still nervous.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. But like it's always interesting to me whenever somebody that I haven't worked with shows up and wants to participate in something that I have not seen before. So like the last time that I did a spell for you as an example, I asked for volunteers and of course Hermes was first. Like, hey, give me some of that energy. I'll shoot this over real fast. I was like, okay, okay,
Hmm.
chillax. You're part of the crew. It's fine. Um, but the other ones that showed up for you were Medusa,
Yes.
which makes sense because you've worked with Medusa before. So I was like, okay, that's chill. But the one that surprised me was Lu, the Celtic
Oh,
god.
Lugh.
Yeah. Yeah. He showed up like, let's write, bitch. I was like, whoa.
Really?
Chillax. Yeah, no, he's a trickster god, but also a creativity poet. So
Oh, nice.
so he showed up like meat in hand, like let's get it done. I was like, wow, okay then. Sure. I wasn't sure who it was at first. I just knew that
Mhm.
it was male energy and very loud, just extremely loud. And I was like, what? So I started looking up like regionally and like the things that he was telling me were his things. And that's where I came across that it was Lou. So yeah, apparently you have Lou wanting to have your back um, as
All
well.
right.
I have a feeling like while you could probably work with Hermes, I think Hermes just likes being part of my spell work at this point
That's why
because
your
literally
shit works so fast.
it does work fat. Maybe that's why. Maybe because I got the messenger just being like, I'm putting this in the express post for you. Now give me that energy. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
I never like usually I only work with like three spirits max just because I don't want to wipe myself out completely. Because the one time that I did uh a spell with five, I was just fucking done the next day because I can't just, give all of my energy to one of them. I have to dole it out evenly to everybody. Otherwise, it's not fair. And
So how is
how's
no go
what?
on.
I was going to say because I don't do many of the other things like cooking or service or the other thing though
Mhm.
I do look into that land tax thing, so I'm like looking that up to see kind of what I can do because the one website I found for the area around Cincinnati just has some kind of writing and acknowledgement of the land rights, and that is not the same as giving the community money. And
Yeah.
I need to contact them to see how best to give the community money. Maybe I can just email
Mhm.
them and ask, you know, like a human.
Yeah. And
Be
then
like,
don't be
hey.
surprised if they're like, we don't actually know because there's so many people right now who are
Mhm.
doing the whole like, yeah, we want to do the land acknowledgement, but it stops at that. Like it stops at a land acknowledgement.
Yeah, and I think
And it should go further.
that's where they're at. So I'll just message them and be like, I want to pay land tax. Should I explain that it's part of my devotional, or just tell them that I want to do
Just tell them
land
that you
tax
want to
for
pay
them?
a land tax.
Okay,
If you want to tell them, give them as much information or as little information as you want to.
as long as it lets me pay the tax. Because I mean, I think I would do spells more often if it didn't wipe me out physically doing them. Because I have a low constitution score, so I only have so much energy to give.
I get it. I get it. I get it. So what's been like the spell work or the magic that you're the proudest of? And what's the magic that got you fucked up?
um, the magic that I'm proudest of and the magic that got me the most fucked up are the same, I think, because I am a dumbass. No one do this at home ever.
It's gonna be good.
Um, so I decided to do a karmic blood ritual against everything.
What?
Yeah. So
You're gonna have to go
about
into detail.
about I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, I was just fed up with how shit was going because everything was bad. So I did a spell and I specifically outlined the spell in that everything coming to everyone will hit them. So if you've done good, you will be hit with good. And if you've done bad, you will be hit with bad. That was the concept behind the spell. And then I stabbed myself. And I almost passed out. I still have the scar. It's on my arm right here. I don't know if you can see. It's fairly light. It's right here. But I basically just went kink. It was not a sharp
Hmm.
knife, so that was my first mistake. that was my first mistake. I also learned that your skin actually crunches, which is not
Oh wow.
normal or good.
Were were you dehydrated?
Pitch, I'm always dehydrated. That is my natural state of being, is dehydrated. But yeah, probably. So, and then I used the blood to paint a painting,
Mhm.
and that's what I did. And I feel like in general things have worked out like they should. So, I mean, fuck shit's still happening, but I feel like
Mhm.
it's different fuck shit than what was happening before. So, I don't know. I was proud of myself for being brave enough to do that because I've never
Mhm.
paid that kind of price before, and I have been asked to. Like, I think I probably told you about this a while ago, but I tried to make a like carve my own wand and use blood and wax together to seal it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it was Odin that was asking for that, and I just decided,
that makes sense.
that bitch always wants blood. He does
That
though.
sounds
He
like some
doesn't
shit
give a
he'd be
shit.
on.
He yeah, both he and Morgan were really into turning me into a warrior for a hot minute there, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that, but I can. I, yeah, I just like I don't know if I was ready to commit to a blood wand. That was going to be a little extreme for me. Um, maybe someday I might be into it. Who knows? It's still on the
Mhm.
table. I mean, it's not like he's gone away and not been. It's not like he's not a
You're like,
spirit
"Hey,
anymore,
what's up?"
right?
Mhm.
um, it's just I haven't worked with him in a while because I'm intimidated. I mean, come on, a blood
It's
wand,
Odin. Yeah.
right?
Bloodron sounds badass though. It almost sounds
It
Klingon.
does, right? Yeah, like, I mean, the concept was really cool, and, like, I could envision doing it in my head, like, I had it all planned out, and I was like, "Should I do this? I don't know if I
Mhm.
should." So I kind of tabled it until I can fully say I'm ready for that kind of a commitment.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by, like, you have to determine on your own what level of commitment or price you're willing to pay, because a blood wand would be extremely powerful, but I would feel obligated to use it for that power, and that's what I'm not quite ready for.
Oh, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Um, and also at the same time, part of me is like, you're powerful enough to wield it, but also you're already super powerful. So do you really want to throw an amplifier on that shit?
I mean, it would definitely do stuff.
Mhm. I think my the spell that got me that I'm the most proud of, and also that got me the most fucked up. There, there are different spells, but the one I'm gonna talk about the one that got me the most fucked up first, and that was a spell I did with my ex, and it was we basically fucked the death god.
Oh, I remember that. You
Yeah,
told me about
yeah,
that. This is
we
interesting.
fucked the death god, and my partner at the time was very much like, what are we exchanging? Like, what are we like? This death god wants to be in our want to be in our mix, so what the fuck is he gonna give us? And I was like, the honor of his presence, and my partner's like, no.
No.
My partner's like, no, no, thank you. What are we gonna get? So they asked for something, and I asked for delivery from scarcity. Now I was thinking my scarcity shit was all around money, but the death god
Mm.
was like, no, bitch, it's around love. So I was confronting, it was during that time that I figured out or found out or was able to hear that my mother was a toxic mother and narcissist. Like, so I had to cut her off. I had to cut off buku people in that year. Like, I lost so many relationships, and that kind of drove me a little bit up a wall. Like, because I never considered myself a very confrontational person, but I found
Hmm.
myself having to do so many confrontation things and having such a cognitive dissonance that I started to check out, and my eating disorder, like, really, really took control. And I think I was this way for like a little bit over a year. Like, it was just tower, 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 tower,
Tower, tower, tower.
tower, tower energy, crumble, crumble, crumble. Um, but I learned a lot, but it really fucked me up emotionally and physically. Like, I lost 50 pounds, my blood sugar shot up. Like, I went into the hospital. Like, it was wild.
That was when you
No,
had
this
the embolism, wasn't it?
that was before the pulmonary embolisms.
Oh, it was before. Okay.
Hmm.
Because I
So
feel
yeah,
like
that
that
spell
was
probably had to reach at 2 years. That spell had to reach at 2 years. Um, the spell that I'm the most proud of. Oh my god! And I will say, the sex we had with the death god was amazing.
I would assume so. I
And
mean,
I'm
they
not
do
gonna lie, I've
call
been a skeptic.
they call
They do call
orgasm the
it
little
death,
death, as it
right?
were. Le petit mort.
And it was. Um, but one of the things, like, I'm always a skeptical witch. I try not to be. I probably fucks with my magic because I'm so skeptical sometimes. But after we had sex, and I know juices were flying everywhere. We were completely it's queer sex. Like, it was like
That's what
that.
happens.
It's like, it's what happens. Juices. But we were completely dry afterwards.
Wow.
Like,
So
nothing had
someone socked
happened.
up all that juice.
Yes. Yes.
Because as they say, the better
Um,
it is, the wetter it is.
yeah, and they like just took it all. They just took it all. So the spell that I have that I'm the proudest of is a spell where I took a candle, a road opener, and I got really high. And I took a nice bath before and everything. And I went in my room and I oiled myself down and I put on one of Janelle Monae's song on repeat. And the song was I Got the Juice. I got the juice. I got the juice. That song,
Hmm.
oh my God, it's so good. But part of the lyrics go, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. Like, so don't think about it, don't overthink it, just be. So I'm laying in my bed. I'm peeling back the layers of reality. I'm like, who do I want to be and what do I want to be? And I keep going through all these possibilities of what can be for me. And I land on this one bitch on a stage with a huge afro giving a TED talk. And I'm like, oh, that's the bitch I want to be. That's the bitch I want to be. That's the bitch. And I crawled up behind her and I devoured her
Whoa.
while in my brain, right? I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm eating her, I'm incorporating her. It's going to be amazing. And while I was doing this, I had the candle between my legs. It was a 9-day vote, a novena candle.
Hmm.
And I had a vibrator on the other side of the candle. So I was feeling the vibrations through the glass in the candle. Now, the only reason I don't
Oh.
recommend this is because you don't want to get glass in your cooch.
I was like,
But I
it's a
wasn't even
candle
thinking that
too.
way.
It's fire.
Hmm. Yeah. No, no, I didn't light the candle yet.
Oh, why not?
Hmm.
Oh, wait, you don't I really love
Because
fire. I would have had that shit
fire.
lit. I don't care. Set this pussy on fire.
This girl is on fire. No, I helped the candle to completion while having this vision,
Okay.
and then I put some of my juices inside the candle, and then I lit the candle. But before I lit the candle,
Ah.
ancestor spirit was like, "If you do this, it's gonna happen." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's what I want. I'm asking for it." And they're like,
Don't
If you
dismiss them. They were saying, "Are you ready for this kind of a commitment?" And you were like,
they
"Yeah,
were
whatever."
they asked me 3 times and I was like, "Whatever, do it." And they're telling me, "You can either walk this walk or you could get drugged." And I'm like, "I wanted someone to walk towards it." Carta, they've been dragging my ass for 2 years.
Yeah,
3 years.
I've been watching that. You're like flapping behind, trying to find your feet.
I'm just like, "Oh shit." I'm fucked. But so much stuff is happening for my good right now. And the biggest thing is I have to believe in it, which is the same thing I have to do for my magic at times. It's like I have to believe in it, I have to have faith and I have to be curious about it, I have to be confident about it. Um and I think magic has affected my life in the way of it's given me a tool to use when I feel like things are hopeless. And being a multi marginalized person in this country is like really difficult. It's difficult for people. Like I can't imagine because it is me. But I'm like I can't imagine it. It's so this country has positioned itself to other people as being great and there's a lot of oppression going on. And I really believe that magic is a tool of the oppressed. So
Mhm.
magic has been such a tool for me to get to my liberation. And that's why I teach the workshops that I teach and how I teach them and why I teach Toppling the Tower every year, which is a series that is anti-capitalist, anti-white supremacy, introduction into liberation craft. But yeah, magic has changed my life, and I think without it, I would feel hopeless or powerless completely. And magic helps me really reclaim my power for myself. And I've always used it for liberation work, but now I'm trying to figure out how to use my magic for pleasure. I want
Oh.
pleasure. I want pleasure. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that, get more of that in my
I
life.
feel like that would be easier actually,
Mm.
because
Well,
raising energy in itself is pleasure, to me at
it's
least.
sometimes it is, and sometimes for me, it hasn't been because of where I'm coming from. I'm coming from
Mm,
a place of grief, of marginalization, of being oppressed, and all of those stuff. So I'm used to using this tool for working for my liberation and the collective liberation. But I never put rest and pleasure in that equation because it's the fight, right? It's the struggle, right? Um,
at the
so my
same
magic
time,
hasn't
though,
been from pleasure, it's been blood.
while you are in this fight, the greatest from one of my perspective at least, one of the
Mhm.
greatest weapons you can have is your own joy in who you are and in how you work and bringing, because the whole idea of fighting is to ensure that you yourself, community, and the people that come after have the opportunity for joy and for comfort.
Mhm.
So building your own joy and comfort into that work makes a lot of sense
It
to
does, and
me.
we've been rediscovering that technology. But it's difficult when you grow up and you're surrounded by people who and cultures and communities that believe in the sacrifice of the now for the
Mhm.
future. So you're
Yeah.
sacrificing yourself so that the next generation behind you can have a future. So you bleed and you move forward and you like even and this is just my experience as a black person. I'm not speaking for all people, but even the black national anthem is like weary the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod. We will march on until victory is won. Like those lyrics are so whoever thought of the black national anthem, I'm like, that shit's depressing as fuck. But It is. And so this idea of sacrifice, even built into the spirituality, and how spirituality works is, you suffer and then you die, and then that's when you get your reward. And that's something that was encoded into people's psyche, and it's part of my intergenerational trauma that dates all the way back to slavery, right? So
Hmm.
my way of magic and incorporating magic and pleasure into my magic is breaking an intergenerational curse, because I have to imagine it first, whereas people before me haven't imagined it. And people that incorporated pleasure in their lives were seen as a negative version of hedonist, or selfish. When you're supposed to be working toward a cause, like there can't be any, you can't be selfish, right? But there's a difference between what am I going to fight for and what am I going to live for. And I've decided to pivot to what am I going to live for. And that
Hmm.
has room for pleasure and joy, instead of what are you going to die for, which has been the question of how it's been posed to me when it comes to liberation. What are
Hmm.
you willing to die for? And it's like, no, what are you willing to live for? And that's even changing how I do my magic. So yeah,
That makes sense.
I'm high. I hope that all makes sense.
It did. It made a lot of sense. So then I have a question. If you were
Hmm.
looking at all of your magic and how you function magically, what would you
Hmm.
consider your specialty? What are the things you're very good at when it comes to
Oh my
magic?
God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm really good at manifestation, but what I believe I'm even better at is intuitive counseling and holding.
Okay, I can see that.
Like people will come to me for holding and counseling sessions, and I'll be with them to create ritual. I'm good at listening. Just like when we do massage, we listen to other people's bodies,
Hmm.
not just what they're telling us, but also what their bodies are telling us. And I'm good at listening on that intuitive level. So I'm good at like listening in a magical, spiritual sense and reflecting that out to the other person and receiving messages for them and giving it to them. So
So
I'm
almost
still about the
almost
storytellers and the
mediumship.
messengers. Yeah, mediumship.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's an
What about
intense
you?
kind of magic too.
It is an intense kind of match. I have been at a conference with someone and falling asleep and being like, "Why is it cold in here?" And she's like, "It is really cold in here." And I got so annoyed, and I was telling her stuff, and I'm like, "It's none of my business," but and I was going off. And then I was like, "It's super cold." So I went to the door to close the door, and it wasn't open. It was closed. And then I came back to her, and when I turned around, the room warmed up. I was like, "Bitch, that was your ancestors. That was not."
Oh,
I wouldn't talk to, like, I didn't know her like that. I knew her from
yeah.
going to conventions. I seen her maybe once a year for like a few hours. I didn't know that bitch's story. I didn't know what was going on, but there I was sitting there telling her her whole life story while cold as fucking feeling like I was about to fall asleep. Somebody was
I
trying to
think I
step in.
remember that. I think I remember that. I'm
Yeah,
trying to.
at the icon.
Yeah, yeah, I think I remember that. Man, we had some good times there. But
We did.
for me, my specialty has always been material things. So I am very
Mm-hmm.
good at getting people jobs. I am very good at getting people money. I am very good at getting people houses. So essentially, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody is in need of something, I don't know, I'm like a provider of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm like a Taurus and a Capricorn moon, so I'm just like earth sign on earth sign.
Mm.
So I got that it might be because I have extremely good luck, which I can actually lend out to people. If someone's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking, because like whenever I do a job spell or a house spell, I'm not asking for one specific thing, but lending out luck is different. So if somebody's like, hey, I'm trying to get this one job and I really need it, in that case, I will not do a spell for them to get that job. I will literally just lend out my luck. Uh, Doing that though
Mm.
has a very specific consequence in that I will have a really, really shitty week. Either the next week or
Oh
2 weeks
no.
later, I will just have the worst week ever and be like, why do I do this to myself? Oh, wait, I lent out my luck. Never mind. That's what's happening. Yeah.
Oh,
Cuz most
no,
of the time
friend.
like nothing really really bad has happened to me ever because even when
Mhm.
something bad has happened, the outcome ends up being not as bad as it could have been because of my luck.
Mhm.
So, like,
Mhm.
I have extremely good luck, which is why I'm not really afraid of many things because I know whatever the worst case scenario is not going to happen. It can be like the second to worst case scenario, but it will never be the worst
Mhm.
case scenario because
Mhm.
of my extreme luck. I don't know if I somehow accumulated good karma in the past or what, but like my luck is kind of next level to the point that, yeah, I can lend it out, which is kind of crazy. But I haven't figured out a way to manipulate it in my favor. Like I can't amplify my own luck, or I have not yet tried in a way that actually functions. So I don't know if I could maybe double my luck 1 week and then just have a shitty week later for myself. I think one of my problems is I can do spells for other people all day, every day, no problem, but I can't do them for myself because I don't think I deserve it. So
Oh, friend.
because I can't get past that mental barrier, any spell I do for
Mhm.
myself is not going to function because
Oh,
in my head I do not deserve the outcome. So I
that's
love
I have
my
that same
friends,
struggle.
so like all of my friends I can do spells for and they work within 2 weeks, but for me I'm like the spell is
Mhm.
never going to work if it's like actually meant to do something good for me. Um
Mm.
yeah. So that's something that I have to work on for myself
Yeah.
and the future.
'Cause you're super deserving. You're super deserving of all the world has to offer you, and you're super deserving to have your magic, like, work for you. And not just because you lend that magic to other people, or you lend your luck to other people, or you take care of other people. You inherently get to have the things that you want. I mean, not you don't wanna kick puppies or anything like that, like, you just want your
No,
magic
who
to
kicks
work.
puppies?
You just want your magic to work for you, and I want your magic to work for you, and I want you to feel like very selfishly, I want you to feel like you deserve to have your magic work for you. Because I wanna see what you would make, like, you make amazing things for other people, like, and make amazing things happen for other people, and you've made amazing things happen for me, so, of course, I want you to have that, like, canvas, that blank canvas to paint whatever you wanna paint on with your magic for
Yeah,
yourself.
I think that would be cool. I think I can get it to work if I frame it in that if I, as an example, if I have abundance, I can use that to help others more than I currently do because I'm very very big into helping, but I also am very much I spend too much money and get into debt a lot too. So I'm a little too generous all the time forever with everything that I do, including
Mhm.
uh, spending practices. But I don't know, like I feel like I'm kind of balanced in that way at the same time
Mhm.
because I do really, really like taking care of other people. Like if I could just take care of all of my friends, I would do so. And I know other people are the same way, so it's not like I'm special or anything, but I feel like it's important to always just take care of the people around you. Take care of your friends, take care of your community
Yeah.
if you can. It's one of those things that I think
Mhm.
enough people doing that would just make the world a better place.
It would make the world a wholly better place, like, I know that I'm here because of how my community has taken care of me, and there are people within my community circle that because they've been able to take care of me, I've been able to reroute. that care to other people,
Hmm.
and we're helping each other. There's this joke that the same $500 is rotating in the Bay Area queer community. Like we're just like, it's the same $500. It's the same
It's the
five hundred
same
dollars.
500
That's the same five
every time.
hundred for the same people. It
Changes
just
hands.
passes around. Hmm.
Yeah. That's so
Hmm.
funny. It's probably true though. That sounds
Yeah.
accurate. That sounds really accurate. So anything else about magic you want to talk about?
Let's see. If anything, I would to say about magic is that it's real and it has real
Yes.
consequences, and those consequences can be good or bad. And I think that if things don't work out in your favor, or if I used to feel with my magic that if something goes wrong, I've done something wrong or I've asked wrong, or if the consequences turns out the universe got jokes. It's not that the universe got jokes and they're just trying to fuck with you, is that the universe has chaos.
Yes.
And and it's not just like, it's not being petty. It's not like all the time having jokes at your expense. It's just trying to adjust for the concepts that you put into it and how it has to adjust everything else in order to adjust to what you wanted it to adjust to. So, oh my God, you guys, we had some technical difficulties, but now we got it sorted out. So if you saw us just pause or freeze or whatever, that's what was going on. And we're back now. So go ahead, Carta.
Yeah, I'm sorry my internet is shit. It's because of Spectrum. I blame Spectrum entirely. Anyway,
Mm,
um, so we were talking about like kind of wrapping up on magic and how magic practice works, and I just wanted to say that essentially magic is a tool that you can use. It is in your
mm-hmm.
toolbox for you to use to help you achieve the goals and dreams that you have. You just have to keep in mind uh, that while magic has a price, you just have to be aware of the price and make sure that you're willing to pay it. And you can achieve pretty much anything you want. So
Mm-hmm.
keep that in mind and practice safe magic. and,
Yeah.
and you'll be good. You'll be good. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. Don't go opening
Um,
gateways on some baby witch shit and not closing
you
them.
please do not. if if you have questions, find an adult or just someone more experienced than you who can walk you through
Mm-hmm.
doing a spell without hurting yourself or others. It's always no question is too silly. We have heard everything. We have asked everything. So
Mm-hmm.
we are all together in this magical journey. So we
Yeah.
wanted to just talk to you guys about magic a bit because we've had a lot of experience with it and magic is
Mm-hmm.
great. But now we want to talk about magical girls as a genre. And this is something near and dear to my heart because it was my first real exposure to anime. It's not my actual first
Mm-hmm.
exposure to anime because I realized I watched the shit out of Kimba the White Lion when I was like 5, and
Oh
that is
wow.
some old school Tezuka, and I had no idea they were playing old school Tezuka on like public access in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
But there we were, and I got banned from watching it because I kept running around the house roaring until I threw up, and mom said no more of that for you crazed child. So and then I also was completely obsessed with Unico. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
Unico and the Island of
I
Magic? That
don't.
absolutely bizarre ass movie. It is weird. Like, if you watch it now, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be like, wait, you watched this when you were how old? Yeah, I was obsessed with it when I was like 7 or 8. So, like, when you watch it, you're going to be like, wow, this explains a lot about who you
Mm-hmm.
are as a person. But for me, I discovered Sailor Moon in middle school and
Whew,
immediately became
Sailor Moon.
obsessed with the OG original. I'm not going to say it's the OG because I have since discovered a show called Creamy Mommy, which
Creamy
Mami,
mommy.
creamy mommy. And it is about a magical girl who becomes a pop star, and
Mhm.
like her transformation is into this pop star. So it's like she's a normal average uh girl most of the time, but she can magically transform with like a magical microphone or something into a pop star. And that was from the
Wow.
80s. So it's like old.
Oh, it's like Jim.
Yes. Yeah, but it's on Tubi, and it's pretty wild as shows
Mhm.
go. The soundtrack's great though. I highly
Mhm.
recommend it. um but yeah, so the original Deke English version of Sailor Moon, and then my friends and I started finding clips of it online and realizing that the Sailor Moon we were watching was not the actual Sailor Moon. And I cannot
Yeah.
tell you how many people I have explained that Sailor Moon is super duper gay. And they're like, wait, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
so the character of Jadeite is a man. But in the English
Mhm.
version, they were like, well, this one has a ponytail and is in love with this other dude. So we're just going to make them a woman, which is
Yep.
incorrect. Fisheye
Yep.
is a man. And again, the US authorities were like, we're just going to make this a woman because wearing heels and
Yep.
makeup means woman. And I'm like, no, no, that's not right. It's also less violent. The
It's a whole lot less violent. Like Usagi
all
gets
of them
slapped the
die.
shit off by Ray all the time, and all of them do die. Like, ugh, I
Oh my
loved it.
god. Yeah, and in like they cut a bunch of episodes, I realized too, because I've been rewatching it and
Mhm.
I'm like, well, this episode didn't exist. Like there was an episode with Umino, the guy with the circle glasses, who's only in
Yeah.
like the first season and then he disappears. He
Yes.
turns into like a delinquent and like sasses back the teacher and tries to look up her skirt.
Yes.
They just cut that
Yeah.
episode entirely. Like, y'all don't need to see this. I'm like, I did though. I really did. So my friends and I decided to get all of the fan subs from Canada, and it was $20 a tape for 5 episodes, and we would send them cash,
Wow.
and they would send us VHS tapes because I am old. So that is
VHS.
that is how I received my anime, was through fan subs from Canada specifically. And I later learned there's actually a documentary about how the fan sub industry in Canada, one, they had a giant war between two fan sub units. So you like had to pick
Mhm.
which unit you wanted. I need to find some of the old videos to figure out which unit we were like supporting, I guess. But because they had that, like the anime industry essentially realized what level of popularity there was in other English speaking countries, essentially. So the reason why we
Mhm.
have a lot of the shit that we have now is because of people like like me and my friends paying these fan subbers to create to create VHS tapes for us so we could get all
That is
caught
so
up.
cool.
Yeah. But my absolute favorite edit that anybody ever did of Sailor Moon is apparently the Brazilian version of Sailor Stars. You know how the Sailor Stars basically they became men to create a
Yeah.
band, and then they
Yep.
like turned back into their woman form to actually fight. In the
Mhm.
Brazilian version, the they're cousins, and they call their cousin on the phone.
What?
So the cousins look exactly the same.
Exactly like them. Yeah, that's how that works. That's
That's
ridiculous.
so dumb, but that's also probably why they decided not to translate that when they were doing all the translations for American version. I don't think they have a Sailor Stars for the American version, do they? Well, they probably have it English dubbed now.
They might
Now they
now.
do, but they didn't at the time. I know that for sure. They did up to the they did up to the unicorn romance one. It's like, yeah, bestiality's fine, but get rid of all this gay shit. Censors.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I was introduced to anime through Akira.
Oh,
That was the first.
really? I
That
mean,
was the first anime I saw,
I can't
and
really
then it
talk.
was Sailor Moon. I watched Akira like 5 times because I'm like, I don't think I'm getting it, and I must have been like 12 or something like that. Maybe I was younger. I don't remember what house we were living in when I first saw Akira, but I was like, this is on some shit. I need to figure this out. What is this? And then later I saw Sailor Moon. And Sailor Moon, between Sailor Moon and Xena, I was set for life. Sailor Moon was amazing. And I knew, like, I didn't know I was queer at that age yet.
Right,
But
yeah.
what I did know is that I loved Sailor Mercury. Like, I love, like,
Mm,
Sailor Mercury would
yeah.
make me tingle. And so did Sailor Jupiter. And the thought of Sailor Mercury and Sailor Jupiter just holding hands and walking down the street used to make me really happy. And now I know it's because I'm queer as fuck. But
Yeah.
it was Sailor Mercury kind of showed me, oh, you can be like super smart and magical all at the same time. And Sailor Mercury's a Virgo and I'm a Virgo. And I just love that energy. So yeah, that's when I got into Sailor Moon, which really got me into other animes. Um, but the magical girl genre in and of itself, I think I loved it when I was younger, and as an adult, I was like, this is fucked up.
A lot of it is. They're they're
Like
like
all these girls
hardcore.
want to do is have boyfriends. Like they just want to have boyfriends and like have fun and stuff like that. And now they're fighting to the death,
Right.
like every other
Actually,
night. And
have you
Usagi cries
seen
about it.
she does. She doesn't want to fight. I feel so bad for her.
She
She
doesn't
just
want to
wants to be a
fight. She
teenager
doesn't want
and
to
do
fight.
teenage shit, and then she's stuck like fighting
Yeah.
people all the time.
Even
Um,
though her teenage shit was
but
dating
have
a
you ever
college
seen
guy.
Wedding Peach?
Was he in college or was he like in an ending? Like
Which
he
they
was in
said
university,
no,
wasn't
he's
he?
18 and in high school
Mamoru?
he was he was in high school. So he wasn't I think he was in high school at the beginning of the first season. So but he was 18.
No, I
So
haven't seen Wedding
Mamoru
Peach.
was 18 when she was 14. And then I think he went the age gap was 4 years. So it's not terrible. It's not great
Hmm.
because she was 14 when they met.
Oh no.
So, oh, that actually reminds me. So, like one of the things that I watched recently, it's called Suzume, and it's made by the same guy who did
You have to
Your
tell me how
Name.
to watch that. Did you go to the theater?
Yes, yeah. So I went to the theater because it's actually in the theater right now, and it was so oh my god, it was so good. It made me cry. It was excellent. Like the animation, everything, top notch. Loved it. But when we left the theater, this couple in front of us were like, man, I don't know. There was this age gap with it. And so the main character is in her third year of high school. So she's basically an adult. And the
Hmm.
guy is like in his last year of college or something. So he's training to be a teacher. A college kid in like a late high school. I'm like, oh, sweetie, you obviously haven't seen any anime from like the early 2000s because that that kind of an age gap
That
is
shit was
that's
wild.
normal. That's a normal
Hmm.
age gap. That isn't like the 10-year, 17-year they're basically dating a child as an
Yeah.
adult type of thing that they
Yeah.
used to have all the time. So I'm like, oh, you sweet
Yeah.
summer child. You think this age gap is bad. I'm
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you.
There was far worse.
Yeah. But yeah, so their age gap wasn't great, but 4 years isn't terrible. It probably would have been better if he had met her when she was in high school instead of him going off on a plane and dying when she's in high school. Like what actually Y- Mamoru's dead in the Sailor Star season. Like
Oh
dead dead.
wow, is he?
You did that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he dies in a plane crash in like the first two episodes. And Usagi the whole time is like, oh, he moved to America and he won't call me. Why? And it's like, bitch, he's dead.
Oh my god. Does she find out?
Yeah, and she like has a fucking breakdown because the love of her life has been dead all year and she didn't notice. Yeah, it obviously
Oh
he comes back to
wow.
life later because that always happens.
Okay. Whew.
But like literally all of them die and come back to life every single season, so
Okay.
it shouldn't have been that big of a, a
Ish-
surprise. It's just
we
it
have to
happened much earlier than normal.
we have to talk about Mamoru, who's like, I love this in the Sailor Moon series specifically. Like Mamoru is Tuxedo Mask is showing up to save Sailor Moon, and we see him as, oh, he's like fighting by her side, he's saving her.
Mhm.
But really it seems like this bitch is always getting kidnapped or something.
Always.
And
And murdered. I'm like, come on, bro.
and Usagi's always like, and like and like, yay! And bringing his ass back to life or saving him. So it's kind of like, oh, he's saving her from like these small little things,
Mhm.
and she's like just basically saving him as her saving him as an entire story arc.
Yeah, though I will
She's
say
like
I think
a
probably
princess. I
the
love it.
weirdest story arc that I've seen in Sailor Moon is when their child came and decided she wanted to date her dad. Because
Yo, the whole pink lady shit. The whole
yeah.
pink lady shit.
I mean, not gonna lie, the Pink Lady design, chef's kiss, love it. But
No,
the whole
beautiful.
plot behind it, oh, sweetie.
Fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. She's like, "Daddy's mine," and it's like,
Yeah. But like at the same time, looking at the time period and the volume between like the mid 90s to the mid 2000s that incest
Mhm.
was a theme, there are too many. There are just too many anime that are just like, yes, incest is fine. Let's do that. It's like, really? I
Mhm.
don't think so. I think that we need to calm down a little bit on that, maybe.
There's so much
Um,
Oni-san. Like,
uh yeah, I mean, but the thing is like at the same time Oni-san is kind of the same as Oppa in Korean dramas where if
mhm.
you are close to an older
No, but
male
I
you're
mean
going to
they were
call him
actually it was
Oni-san.
actually a brother. Like, I mean it
Yeah, I
was
know.
actually a brother.
I know. I know. I'm just saying. Well, like, I mean, with Vampire Night, it was her great 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 grandpa. So
Wait, what?
I tell you, oh my god,
No.
Vampire Night is so crazy. First
Okay,
season, it
okay, wait.
starts out, and you're like, oh, normal love triangle, and then like in season two, you're like, oh wait, she's a vampire too, and they're related, but like actually real like blood related, but like vampires do that all the time. And then she, like a dumbass, instead of choosing Zero, who is the hot human who is next to her, chooses her grandpa instead. And I'm like,
Ugh.
gotta eat this anime out now.
Oh
Like
my
the fact
god.
that he was not as bothersome as the fact that she chose him. That was a bigger.
Yeah.
But back to Magical Girls. So Wedding Peach came out around the same time as Sailor Moon, and a lot of people consider Wedding Peach to be like a sister show to Sailor Moon because a lot of the same
Uh-oh.
people worked on both. So there's a very similar aesthetic to it. But Wedding Peach, I personally found to be very weird and boring because, like, it's, how to put it? They basically would magically turn into brides and then use the power of love to fight demons, which
Oh
is
no.
cool. They didn't kill as many people as Sailor Moon, though. Sailor Moon just like obliterated the shit out of anybody they fought. But what's up? Oh, I am seeing everything fine still. So, oh, yeah, that's probably my fault. Sorry. Let me
No, how can it be your fault?
see.
I can see you
Because
now.
my
I can
internet's
see you and hear
shitty.
you now.
That's why. we we might have to edit that out. But uh what
So
was
you're
I
talking
saying with
about
Wedding
Wedding
Peach?
Peach. That people
Yeah,
consider
so
that
I
the
watched the sister show, yeah, the sister show because of the way that it's set up. And actually there are people who found like Sailor Mars and Sailor Jupiter lookalikes in the crowd in one of the scenes for Wedding Peach, and like just stuff like that where there'd be like little nods to the fact that the creators were working on both. It was pretty cute. But I personally didn't find it as compelling as Sailor Moon because Sailor Moon had higher stakes. Like as an example, they in Wedding Peach, the demons would possess people and they would use love to basically eradicate the demon and save the person. So they didn't actually kill any of the bad guys. But Sailor
mm-hmm.
Moon was like a wrecking ball and she just obliterated
Can't do
anything in
like
her
a
path.
wrecking ball.
Right? But I find the whole concept of magical girls interesting in that I feel like it's a reflection on society because it's putting the onus of protecting the universe on young girls with nearly no support system
Yeah,
because
none.
a lot of them do not have any adults that are helping them out. They have
Mm-hmm.
magical animals who are giving them powers, and then they're basically being told, hey, go save the fucking universe now because you have powers. This is on you. And I think from what I've seen of the Magica Madoka, they really dig into that concept in
Yes,
a
that's my favorite.
self-aware kind of way where they're like, we know that this is fucked up and we're going to show how it's fucked up in a very nuanced way. um
Yeah. It was my favorite one, which is why I was like, you have to watch this. But I loved how it was like a darker, um, magical girl
mhm,
anime, and how it showed how much of a burden are on these girls, and how much their soul was suffering from doing the work that they were doing in the world, from doing the work in this like kind of isolated way. How much it took from them, how they couldn't have relationships that they may have wanted to have because their life is now this, and that it is like the signing of a contract. Like they
mhm,
are signing a contract and signing their present and their future away. Like their survival is tenuous. Like what if you don't come back as a magical girl? What if you don't come back from the dead? And I feel like that was one of the themes of Madoka Magica.
mhm,
That was like really, look, when they killed that first bitch in there, I wasn't ready for that. I thought that it was gonna be just a regular magical girl, everything's gonna turn out fine, and then your girl got her head bit off. Like I wasn't ready for that. The artwork was dark and beautiful, and the story was dark and beautiful, and it also asked the question: what if these people who are supposed to be giving the magical girls powers, like what if it isn't all altruistic? What if it isn't all good? Like what if they're
mhm.
being fed off of and all this other stuff? And also the idea that
Yeah.
there's always going to be something to fight. Whether it's outside the world or within this world, there's always going to be something to fight. And the way we fight fear, trauma, pain, destruction is with those innocent parts of ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, who can see a different way and can see a different world. And it's like the sacrificing of innocence in a way in order to counterbalance all these dark forces.
Yeah, and it makes
Or it could
sense
not
that
be that deep, but it's that deep for me.
honestly, I think it is because I think even when it, even if you say, well, this is just a monster of the week kind of show, each
Mhm.
episode, even in Sailor Moon when it was like older back in the day, it still showed how much of a toll it took on these girls having to take on the role of protector, the role of an adult, the role of
Mhm.
basically they could not be safe in the world. They had to make the world safe
Yeah.
for other people.
Yeah.
And they couldn't run away. And I find that I find it interesting that a lot of people will dismiss magical girls as just, oh, this is just monster of the week fare. This is just silly without ever looking deeper into the genre itself or what the genre could mean for other things. And I think also having that aspect, because most of the magical girl shows do have some aspect of otherness, either of being an outcast because of just not being able to socialize normally because of being a magical girl,
Mhm.
having, like with Sailor Moon, having the volume of queer characters that they had in there, because it wasn't just the bad guys. We've got Uranus and Neptune,
Mhm.
we've got several of the Sailor stars who were obviously super gay. Um, to me, at
Mhm.
least, it was obvious. But like you've got all these aspects of things that would are seen as outsider in society being portrayed in these magical girl shows as uh, you know, just part of their world. And that may be some young person's first exposure to that kind of idea. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that we have to look at the magical girl shows as something far more nuanced. And I actually really like there are a ton of magical girl shows out there now that really put the entire concept on its head. So, like Madoka Magica, like you were talking about, does it a lot darker than what you would normally expect from most of the bubblegum shows that are out there. The ones that are probably the most prominent are going to be Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura, though the edits they did on
Mhm.
Sakura for the TV versions were not not great. So
Mhm.
watch the original on whatever platform you can get it on to the audience if you can. Um, the other two that I want to talk about are Orehime, which I know you've seen.
Was that the one with the dudes?
That's the one where she transforms into a buff dude as her magical girl
Yeah.
transformation. That one was funny, but I really liked the aspect of, one, they had a handler. Two, her mom was a magical girl. So it deals with the fact that there's a retirement available for magical girls, which isn't addressed in
True.
a lot of the other ones. They're just
Mhm.
like, you're this for life or you're dead. Like
Yeah. And
those are
Madoka
your two
Magica was like, "You're
options.
dead." Like,
Yeah.
you're dead after a while. You're gonna
Like,
die
we'll
regardless.
use you up and throw you away. So, like,
Mhm.
I kind of liked that they had those aspects, and like the handler was human instead of being an animal. Because most of
Mhm.
the other ones that had the transformations and stuff like that involved an animal or a magical object or something where that was the kind of driver behind them changing, instead of
Mhm.
it being like a person. But in Orehime, it's this yakuza looking dude who just shows up like,
Mhm.
"Hey, guess what? You're a magical girl now."
Mhm.
um, so I found that one both funny and fun and interesting because it addressed a lot of the themes in Magical Girls, but like from a slightly different perspective, if that makes sense.
Mhm. It did. It did. It was hilarious.
Yeah, so I like
Um,
that one. Trying to think of any more. Um, there is the Cute Earth High Defense Club, which I'm not
hmm,
sure if you're familiar with that one, but that one is a
I'm
magical
not.
boy. There's a group of 5 guys that transform and use the power of love to, uh, fight universal stuff. Their animal is a wombat, which is very funny.
Oh.
Because the wombat can't get around on his own very easily, so like he possesses this random dude and is like, "I'm gonna be your professor, and we'll talk about stuff." And like a lot of scenes happen in this bathhouse, and like the wombat will like make the dude he's possessing take him into the tub. It's so
I'm gonna have to check it out. There was this article on CBR that was saying, "Can magical girls be boys?" And I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, let's read this article."
yeah.
And it's still saved on one of my bazillion tabs on my phone in order to read and to watch
it
some of the shows.
Yeah, and I think they're up to like 3 seasons. So like they
Oh, cool.
yeah, they like go hard for that one. Though I stopped watching it after a while just cuz I get bored of things and I put it down and then I forget to pick it back up again. So I'll probably pick it
Mhm.
back up again at some point. But like
Mhm.
that one I watched the whole first season. It was really cute. I enjoyed it. But that's another one where like for me the aspects needed for it to be a magical girl show is basically there has to be a transformation sequence
Mhm.
at some point, and they have to fight cosmic powers. That's it.
Mhm.
Those are the two things that have to be involved for it to be a magical girl show. And I'm probably going to be raised for this, but I tried the new Tokyo Mew Mew new show also because that was
Mhm.
on High Dive. Didn't really like it. I
Hmm.
mean, maybe you have to have like some level of nostalgia, like having watched it previously or something, but like I wasn't a big fan,
What's it
honestly.
called?
Tokyo Mew Mew New.
Tokyo Mew Mew Mew.
Yeah.
Right, it's on my
I
list to check
mean,
out.
the soundtrack's pretty hype, but I think that's just across the board for all magical girl shows. And Orihime and the Earth High Defense Club are both available on Crunchyroll. So,
Earth High Defense Club. Um, okay, I'm gonna watch this. Oh my god, they're so cute.
right? They're adorable. um, like I do super
They're
love their
so cute.
designs. They're pretty
Mhm.
adorable. And they're fun. It's a funny show. So
Okay,
you'll
cool.
enjoy like the bad guys take on like really weird physical attributes because they're made from like normal objects merging with a human who's around that normal object. So like there's a bad guy who's like
Mhm.
ramen ingredients or something like that. So like they the bad guys are weird and interesting. But every time I think of magical girls, I always go back to Sailor Moon because that is my
Mhm.
epitome of. Though I don't like the new Crystal one. I tried it and no, not for me at least.
Oh, there's one I started watching on Netflix and then had to stop because it seemed like a satire of Sailor Moon called Glitter Force. Was it Glitter Force?
Oh, I think it is. I vaguely remember
Yeah,
that.
Glitter Force. Glitter Force.
It does
And
it
they
does
also
seem
have
like a
Sailor Moon
satire.
Eternal. Yeah, it was like y'all are this is Sailor Moon, and Sailor Moon done a certain way, and I'm also trying to watch Sailor Moon Eternals, which I think is just a retelling of Sailor Moon, just more polished and a bunch of episodes cut out,
Let me check this out.
and
Oh,
that's on
it's a movie.
Netflix. Oh, Sailor Moon
Oh,
Eternals
okay.
is a movie.
Yeah, it looks like it's a
I
movie,
thought it
2
was a
hours and 40
series.
minutes. No.
Oh, it's 2 episodes.
Maybe one's in English and
Okay,
one's in Japanese.
maybe I'm gonna have to check that out. But they
So,
also
have you
did
seen?
redo Sailor Moon.
Yeah, that's the Crystal. Sailor Moon Crystal is the new
Oh,
one. Just like
Crystal.
they
Okay.
yeah. They redid
Okay,
Cardcaptor
cool.
Sakura as well, and that one is Cardcaptor Sakura Clear. The biggest change with that one versus the original is how to put this so that it doesn't sound absolutely awful, but it's not going to not sound absolutely awful. So in the original Cardcaptor Sakura, there is a character who falls in love with the teacher, and the teacher
Mhm.
decides that's cool. This is an elementary school child who falls in love with their teacher.
No!
Yes.
Ugh!
Yes. Yeah. So that's a thing that happens. And you're like, oh my God. And like, she also falls in love with her older brother's best friend, but that doesn't turn into anything. But what's kind of interesting is she and this other kid, I think his name was Shin. I can't remember exactly, but she and him were love rivals against each other for the affections of this older brother's best friend, and both of them are children, and the older brother's best friend's like, hi, yeah, you're children.
Mhm.
And so they end up falling in love with each other instead. So I'm like, I'm just here
Mhm.
for that bisexual energy that Shin is giving, because that's wonderful. And also her best friend is in love with her. She makes all of these outfits and makes Sakura wear the outfits because she wants to take pictures because she loves her so. So all of the fun outfits you see Sakura in are because Tomo-chan is like madly in love with her and has too much money and just makes these outfits for her and puts her in them. Like before Instagram was
That's
a
a way of
thing.
expressing
Yes.
love.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I love it. So like there's a lot about Cardcaptor Sakura I like. And Clear keeps all the good things and gets rid of that one really truly awful thing that should not have been in a show for children.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um because that shouldn't be seen as okay ever. So yeah, but Clear is that new one. Um, all the Sailor Moon movies are great too. So if you haven't seen
Yeah.
them all, I highly recommend that as well. My
Mm.
favorite is the one where Luna and Artemis get human bodies.
I think I saw that one.
It's so good. Their designs are amazing.
They are. And they were so cute together. Well, one of the things that I don't remember where I saw this, if this was a movie or if this was a show, but like at one point, like Luna fell in love with like this actual person who was an artist or something like that. And then
Yeah.
Artemis was like, "But I love you."
I think that
Artemis is trying to get with Luna. Luna's like, "Whatever."
no, I think either that was
And
an
then I think
episode
they
or
ended
that
up
was that
together
movie.
later.
Yeah. I actually think that
It's
was the
all
movie
congealing
because
together.
Luna was trying to turn into a human so she could be with that other human. And
Mhm.
Artemis was like, no, bitch, you're supposed to be with me. And that's how they both ended up turning human, is because they did it together.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
then, so they connected that way. Man, I gotta rewatch all of this stuff. But like, just the aesthetic in Sailor Moon, I I'm madly in love. Like that
Mhm.
80s vaporwave, pastel and watercolor backgrounds
Yeah.
with like the fashion. Ugh, everything about
Mhm.
Sailor Moon is great. I was surprised that Eternals was its own movie though, because I feel like Sailor Stars and Eternals are kind of the same thing. Did the Eternals movie have Galaxia or no?
I don't remember. I think I did see it, but like with most media I consume, I was high. So,
So I forgot.
yeah, so I know like looking at it, I'm like, I've seen this shit, but I can't tell you anything about it.
All right, I will watch it later to see because I love Galaxia as a bad guy. She's just, ugh, I want her to step on me. She's such a good baddie. Like I also like how the bad guys just escalate even more. Because in the first season you've got Queen Beryl and all of the stones. In the second season you've got season R, you've got the incest twins and then Dark Lady. And then the
Mhm.
third season is the circus.
Yeah,
That one's special.
it is special.
that one's special. And then the fourth season is where you get the was there a fourth season? I feel like I'm mixing my seasons
There was
up.
one no, there was one season because I know because it inspired me. It inspired a sequence in one of the books I was writing where
Oh,
she was in this whole other no, wait, that was the one was that the one with Pink Lady? Where she was in this whole other like planet and there was a guy who had her in fucking stasis and shit. And he was like, I love you so much. He had this stalker energy about him.
I
Or did I make
feel
that up in
like
my
that
head?
was a movie. I think that was one of the movies. It was the planet, the flower planet where
I
like
think it was
it was like an asteroid that was full of flowers. No, that guy kidnapped
no.
Mamoru. that guy
Yeah.
that guy was like, I'm gonna take Mamoru for myself, and it's like, oh, okay.
Was that
Is
what
that
happened? It wasn't Sailor
yes?
Moon? Was it
No,
Maru?
it was
I keep putting
Mamoru
Sailor Moon.
on this flower planet, and she had to go save his ass because I think the guy was
He was in
definitely obsessed
stasis
with them
again?
both, but like
Yeah.
most of the bad guys have like serious bi energy anyway, where you're just like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're
Oh my
great.
god, that reminds me. Fucking Molly in the first season with was it
With
Nephrite?
Nephrite, yes.
You know Nephrite was older
Oh
than
my
God. Like
god. That is an
she was like,
adult. And the thing is, like, I remember as a kid watching it, I was like, "Oh, this is so sweet." And as an adult, I'm like, "Nephrite, you're correct to shove her off all the time. Keep doing
yeah,
that."
yeah.
He shoved her off until he
And he was
died, and
like,
I'm like,
yeah.
that's correct. Good
Mhm.
job.
Mhm.
you, you
Mhm.
are right in your actions, sir."
Yes. Yes, he did. And I was like, but she loves you.
Yeah, I know. Like
As
teen
a
me had
child,
no
as a
idea what was
child.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah, so I like rewatching a lot of these shows as an adult is giving me completely different vibes for so many things because I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's inappropriate. Like, why are
Yep.
we watching it like this? And that's why, because that's how they made
Mhm.
it. And I'm like, this is unsafe for the kids. They should know
Mhm.
that's not okay.
It's telling them stuff is okay that's not.
Right. Just because the
But they
adult is
didn't edit
hot doesn't
that
mean
shit
you
out.
They didn't! Oh my god, you're right. They'll like edit out Umino being a fucking perv, but they won't edit out the fact that Molly's in love with Nephrite. What the fuck?
Who we know is hundreds of years old, but still looks like he's 30. Like,
Right? And like the other thing is they'll edit Jadeite so Jadeite's a woman because having two men is not okay. But having a
mhm.
child be in love with a full grown ass man is fine. Like,
It's
come
perfectly fine
on.
here. We're good. We're good with it. Let's keep that in. That's what they decided. That's what they decided.
They
I know that
did.
my rewatches of it has had me be in more compassion for the
Mhm.
characters. Like whenever Ray would slap Usagi, I would be like, Ray's mean. And I'm like, no, Usagi was fucking around
Yeah,
and Ray was
Usagi.
frustrated. And
Like, yeah, I'm fully on that shit too. Cause like when I was younger, I liked Jupiter the most because I was
mhm.
also tall and loud. So I identified with being tall and loud. But as an adult, I'm like, No, I'm on the Ray train because I'm also annoyed with Usagi making terrible decisions all the time.
And at the same time, I had more compassion for Usagi
Yes.
because it's like, child, you did not want this at all,
No.
not even a little, and you still did it. Even though you were like scared, you still showed up, even though you had to be dragged there sometimes by Luna. But whenever shit was down, when chips were down, you were like, I got this, or I'll die for this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I got your back. So I appreciated her for that in ways that I could not appreciate her younger. When I was
Hmm.
younger, I identified more with Ray. And now, but even though I was in love with
With
Amy,
Mercury.
with
Ami-chan.
Ami, I love a Sailor Mercury. If I ever cosplay a Sailor Moon character, it's gonna be Sailor Mercury. I need to find myself a baby blue because I don't like that shade of blue exactly, like Afro. And I
Oh,
need
that would be
with the baby
so
blue. Oh, come
cute.
on! Our
Yes.
Afro puffs, come on!
Yes.
It'd be the cutest shit ever. I think I'm gonna do my next hair blue. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
my next hair blue. Next few months, y'all see me. My hair's gonna be blue in honor of Sailor Mercury.
I realized that when I the one time I did cosplay, I did actually I did what was which one was it? I'm trying to think. It was one of the outers. It was not one of the inners. Though I should have
Hmm.
done Jupiter, but I did. Why can't I remember her now? She was
Was
the
it
one with a
Pluto?
really dark green hair. Yes. Yes, it was Pluto.
Hmm.
How did you know?
I don't know.
You sensed it in my energy. Yeah, no, Pluto was my favorite. Um I liked Saturn's glaive the best, but I actually cosplayed Pluto because I'm tall and have tits. I understand who I am as a person, that's why.
Gosh, so anything else to say about magical girls?
No, I think I covered everything I wanted to say about Magical Girls. I just want to really emphasize to everyone that Sailor Moon as a show is wonderful and very gay, and you should watch it. The
I
original
agree.
or a new dub, if the new dub actually allows for all of the true queerness to come through. Because they may have
Hmm.
redone the dub for the actual original so that it's like matching,
Oh,
because a
that's
lot of the
cool.
episodes a lot of the episodes in because it's on Hulu, so I've been watching it on Hulu, though someone told me that you can watch it on YouTube as well. Like YouTube bought the rights
Mm.
to Sailor Moon, so you can watch the original there.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I can watch that commercial free. So I might go to
Oh my
that one because
god.
I am tired of Hulu giving me commercials all the time.
Tired of fucking commercials. I'm trying to watch fucking what is it? Discovery, but them commercials, especially when they have the medical commercials, it's too much for me. I
Yeah,
can't take it. I
can't
don't
do
want to
it.
hear how some medicine for my colon may cause me to die. I'm disabled and chronically ill. I'm on too much medication, and they do a medication thing on what I'm taking. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do
Mm-mm.
this. So I'm gonna look for Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon. Whenever I hear, the Sailor Moon theme song, oh my god, 241 videos.
Mm-hmm. That's everything. That is all. That is every season.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm subscribed to Viz Media on there. I'm gonna be watching Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was transformational for me and the fact that it made me feel like I was powerful. So I
Mhm.
derived a lot of my own magic from watching Sailor Moon. It made me feel like I was capable of doing anything at that age.
Oh
So
my
it was
god, I
really
think I was the
inspiring
same
to me.
way. I think I was the same way. I think that that's one of the powers of Sailor Moon is that it's and I guess magical girls in general, because not only is it
Mhm.
a societal ideal that you're basically putting the onus on girls to be magical, but it's also showing girls a way that they are powerful and that they don't need
Mhm.
other people to tell them if they can or cannot own that power, that they can just own it
Yep.
and be powerful, which
Yep.
is a powerful message in and of itself. So I will agree with that because I think Sailor Moon formed a lot of my uh, I don't know, the way that I think about the world. It
Yeah.
it helped me to accept and help people in ways that I don't think I would have been able to do so without having been exposed to that at the age that I was exposed to it.
Yeah. The whole I stand for love
Yeah.
and justice, and she really did that. So, and the people, and it also taught me about relying on people for support and how different people bring different things in. Um, the importance of teamwork, even though I didn't like to be a team player outside of. I did not. I hated like I tried to play softball once. It did not go well. I'm a team player when it came to band. I was in band. I was good at band. I love band. But physical sports, no, it's too much pressure.
Yeah,
Um,
I sucked at sports too. I was really good at individual sports. So like I could run because I have long legs and I could do horseback riding.
mhm,
And that was
mhm,
it. And swimming. None of those things were team sports though.
mhm, mhm. But I loved Sailor Moon, and my brother could not understand it. Neither could my mother. But I loved it, and there was when I got older, it was so wild. I feel like we're of the generation where anime may have been a little secret thing that you did in the
Mhm.
dark and no one else really knew except for that really close friend. Um, and some of us were more out loud with it, but I never had people around me that seemed like they watched anime. And now that I'm older, so many people are popping out of that anime closet
Yeah.
going like, "No, I've loved anime. I've always watched anime, da 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 da." Which gets me back to this. Oh, it's the Monster of the Week show. Can we talk about how Dragon Ball Z was a Monster of the Month show?
Yes,
How they
it
would just
was.
spend like a year for an entire season fighting one monster, and you're gonna like be mad that there's a Monster of the Week? Come on, you fuck boys. Like,
Well, I think it also tells you a lot about a person based on what their first anime was. Because most of
mm-hmm.
the people of our generation, their first anime was going to be either Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, or a Macross slash Gundam version.
Yeah.
And that original show is going to dictate what their taste in anime was forevermore, essentially. So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the guys that started with Dragon Ball Z will only watch shonen. They will not watch anything else. And most of the people who watched Sailor Moon first tended towards shoujo, but would be more open to other genres as well
Mm-hmm.
as um we're all gay now.
Mm-hmm. 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 My favorite genre.
Which is yeah, that's
My
also
favorite
my favorite
genre.
genre is either the weird stuff or gay stuff. And if it's combined extra good, I love it even more. Um
Mm-hmm.
but like yeah, I think that's just really telling that like based on how you started is going to kind of dictate how it's going now. And I do
Mm-hmm.
agree because I remember growing up like not many people were into anime, but at the same time the people who were not really people who I would hang out with. So like my friend group, we watched a lot of anime, but we weren't like straight up otaku about it. Like there was
Mhm.
this one group at school that was like calling each other, senpai and shit like that in the hallways, and we were like, we don't know them. We will watch all kinds of crazy anime at home away from
Mhm.
them. Like they created an anime club and everything, and we were like, we are not coming to your club because you are embarrassing as people, and that's a big no. And I think the aspect that like a lot of the people who were really really into anime like were more on that side, kind of scared some people off from watching anime or admitting that they
Mhm.
watched anime because they're like, I like something, but I'm not like them. I'm not
Anime was
quite
a
there yet. Yeah.
Anime was a big part of my like every I remember was it Cartoon Network or was it I think it wasn't. I think it was either Bravo
It
or the Independent Film Channel or the Sci-Fi Channel. Sci-Fi
really.
Channel would have anime Saturday mornings. Yeah, that's how I saw Akira for the first time. It
Oh,
was on the
yeah.
Sci-Fi Channel before they.
I did not see Akira until I was an adult. So but I will say, like, we're kind of in the same vein because when you see Unico, like, in the Island of Magic, you're gonna be like, this is fucked up. This is very scary. I don't know why you were watching this as a child, but, like, at 8-year-old me
Mhm.
was like, yeah, get it. uh, and I remember very distinctly that one of my friend's older sisters who actually read manga was like, in the third movie that they haven't released in English, Unico goes to hell to find his parents, right? And that fucked me up so bad. But like now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, I think that's actually true. I need to look that up
Mhm. Mhm.
because that's totally something that would happen in that series. Um, but yeah, I think uh, my parents tolerated me watching anime. My dad called every single anime Sailor Moony butt though. And he like acted like everything I was watching was hentai, even though it wasn't.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, my first anime was Akira, the movie. My second watching was Sailor Moon, and then I saw Neon Genesis.
Evangelion is a rite of passage almost.
It really is. And I think my mom would come into the room. No, my mom would come into the room while I was watching anime, not because I was watching anime, but because she would hear the sounds.
Hmm.
And when you're not in the room and you're watching it and it's not dubbed, it's subtitles,
Yeah.
often what you hear is from far
I
away. That's
mean,
what you hear.
you're not wrong. Especially
So she,
the volume of screaming that happens in Sailor Moon alone.
yeah, she would come in the room like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And I'm like, "A cartoon in Japanese." And my mom hated anime. She hated anime. And but when she was pregnant with my twin brother and I,
Hmm.
all she watched was oh my god, what's the one with the car? Speed Racer.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, she watched Speed Racer all the time and she couldn't stand it. She couldn't understand why she was watching it. And then she popped out two babies who were like, "I love anime." Isn't that bizarre? She was craving anime, not certain types of foods.
That is
She craved anime,
hilarious.
which she hated. Hated it. So when she saw me watching it, she's like, "Ugh, whatever,
I can't
whatever."
understand disliking a genre so much that you're going to judge someone else for watching it. Like, I mean, I can understand judging someone for watching specific films. Like, instead of judging someone for watching all horror, I'm going to judge someone for watching Human Centipede because that tells me about that person.
Okay, so I've seen all of the Human Centipedes.
um,
All
I
of
have
them.
a
Even the last one was the best because it was a spoof Have you
Oh,
listened to like
nice.
it was a spoof of the whole franchise. It was just fucking bananas.
I'm
And
sending you a music video right now, and
mhm.
I just want you to watch it uh with open eyes.
Okay. So yeah, I've watched all of the humans. There are things that I will judge people on watching. Like if you're constantly watching World War II stuff based on Nazi shit, I'm like, I'm looking at you suspect.
Side eye. Yeah.
Yeah, like you suspect. Um, but yeah, not aside from that and certain things like that, I'm like, I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. Let me see what you sent me. I'm gonna watch it after we're
Yeah,
done.
you should, because it's
Which
funny.
which we are coming up at towards the end of our time, and
Yes.
what would you like to leave anyone with today?
So
What's
I
today's
think the
message?
for me the theme for today was really owning your own power and realizing how powerful you are,
Mhm.
because doing magical girls in general, you're more powerful than you think you are.
Mhm.
So own that, like live that
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. For me it would be there's contracts when it comes to anything. And I don't mean that in a downer way, but you get to choose what you give for what it is being offered and make sure that that is equivalent or that you're winning. When we do things in the universe, or even when the magical girls are like, I'm gonna do this, they exchange it for a sort of power. So go into your magical contracts, go into your life contracts, go into, even if your contract is just for like a day or for an hour or while you're doing that spell, um, with knowing what your worth is, and to echo yours, knowing what your power is and what your power can be. So yeah,
Yeah, read the fine print.
read the fine fucking print. If there's anything Madoka Magica taught me,
Make sure you know what you're signing up for.
mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Well, this
Yeah,
has been Witchy
really
Shit
quick.
and
So
Manga. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say next time that we're on, we are having my friend Zach on, and we are going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about past lives, and we're going to talk about isekai and reincarnation anime. So it'll be
Yeah.
really fun.
Yes, it will. All right, y'all. This has been Witchy Shit with Witchy Shit and Manga Lit with
And
Cardibus and
Mongol,
Rawiyah Tariq.
it's been
And
fun.
we are. It has been fun, and we will see you next week.
All right. Have a great week. Bye.